right, people, here we are. Block Party's back. I'm your host, Mike Wahle. Thanks for watching. If you're enjoying, please subscribe, rate, review on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio. You can check out our video on Process to Perform channel on YouTube. Please hit subscribe, like, rate, review, ask questions, comments. Guy asked me to comment a couple of weeks ago. Actually, last week, it was like, blah, blah, blah. You're too, he said something to the effect of, you're doing too much analysis. Fans don't care about it. And I just said, send some of your game tape, man. I'll analyze that. But haven't got it yet. Anyways, your host, Mike Wahle. Thanks for watching. Mike Wahle68 on Twitter, Process to Perform on Instagram. Our show is always sponsored by BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. Think you know your stuff? And get in our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get a new game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. So head to the website today to get on the action. Bet online. The game starts here. What a fun game. You got to start with this. There were many times over the years where you wondered how much of this was Matt LaFleur, how much of it was Aaron Rodgers. And they haven't won anything yet, and blah, 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 blah. But Matt LaFleur's turned out to be a pretty damn good offensive football coach. And the Packers won 30-14 against the Tennessee Titans. Thumped them. I mean, the game wasn't really close. Malik Willis comes in. He's been here for 3 weeks. Formerly of the Tennessee Titans, Liberty quarterback. Had some good ratings coming out. Really, kind of dual threat guy. Didn't develop him in Tennessee. Second week in a row, he's played well. 13-19, 202 yards in the air for a touchdown. Maybe more importantly, 6 for 73 in a touchdown on the ground. And here's the crazy thing about this game, and I'll show it. The Packers ran for like 160-some yards again, or 186 or something. And they didn't really run the ball very well. I mean, when you look at traditional means of running the ball, in other words, when Jeffrey Simmons says, I hope that they run in the middle, he was right. Like, they didn't do a very good job of that. But between the 73 yards you get from Malik Willis, you get the end arounds, and, now they got Melton and Jaden Reed running, the orbit stuff. They have so many ways to – Emmanuel Wilson's running the toss and cutting it up. They have so many ways to attack you. There's just the offense, and so like from an offensive line standpoint, or just from a aficionado football standpoint, when you watch the offense, it's literally the same stuff over and over and over again up front. So the guys up front who arguably have the hardest job of having to move humans, they don't really have to practice a bunch of crazy new stuff all the time. Like, there's different, there's kind of like one-off plays, but all the orbit motions, all the zone, everything lines up to be basically the same handful of plays over and over and over. And so you can start to get good. But the looks that they give the Titans, at least from the Titans defense perspective, you have no idea what's going to happen. Absolutely no idea what's going to happen from play to play. They can orbit and go screen, go handoff, go the other way, run the option. They can line up in an offset backfield, so like a near or far eye, and run the option off of that. Run a downhill, run a counter. So they've got so many, and it's my favorite kind of offense, quite frankly, when I could line up in one formation and run like 14 different things really well that are just based off the same 2 concepts, 3 concepts. And that's what I think they're doing at an extremely high level right now. So a couple of themes are becoming consistent with this team. Offensively, at least. Number one, Jaden Reed is an absolute problem for defenses that are already focused on stopping Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs goes 14 for 43. Like, not a great day at the office. Had some unbelievable cuts. Really doing a great job. Quite frankly, we seem to like to hold the defense when Josh Jacobs is running the football. I feel bad for him. I think he's probably given up over 100 yards rushing to kind of nonsense holding calls. But then we also talk about Emmanuel Wilson, who's kind of come out of nowhere. I think he had 2 touchdowns on the day, 12 rushes for 50 yards. The Packers knew rushing was going to be difficult. But if you get to that second level, we talked about those linebackers in Tennessee. Like they love to trigger and move on the run game. Like their eye discipline is a little bit less than you'd like to have as their coaches. So you look at what happens. I think it's first, second play of the game. We run toss, fake toss, everybody over to the right. Run Jaden Reed underneath on the shallow cross right underneath both those guys, right by them like they wouldn't there. And we get 26, 20-yard game. So Reed's got 2 for 19 rushing, 4 for 50 receiving, just enough to keep the defense going, really. Now they use Melton in a similar role. And what they're doing is they're just causing number issues all over the field. We'll talk about it on tape. So the team finishes, I have it now, 188 yards on 37 carries. And really, part of this is like you really have the defense to thank, because with all the turnovers that they continue to have, I think the Packers are leading the league in turnovers right now. And with all the turnovers they're creating, whether it's the sacks, whether it's the interceptions, they don't even talk about the pick six yet. What are you doing as an offense? You are just hoping to get an extra set of downs. Where do I grab extra sets of downs? If you look at like a game manager guy, and you at certain points in the game, that's all you're trying to do. How do I grab another series of my offense? So let's watch some tape. The first thing I want to say is Goody is good at his job. Picking up this Malik Willis kid, man. This kid's doing really, really well. Okay. So first play, we already showed it. Already talked about it. So look at the eye discipline of the linebackers. So they got the quick toss. They got everybody going. So they pull Josh Myers. They fake the flip. They motion over to Bunch on the right. They fake the flip to Josh Jacobs. You see eye discipline of the linebackers, and Knights couldn't be more wide open. That's how you open the game. Can't get better than that. Easy pitch and catch. Goes for 30. Fantastic. We motion over to trips again, and all they're doing is trying to figure out like what happens when we motion. Are you rock and rolling your safeties? Are we going to get the matchup that we want? Tries to make a house call to Christian Watson. Like, this is a big time throw early in the game, and this is one of those throws where you're going to the first 15 the night before, and everyone's in there saying, and you're just hoping coach says it like, hey, if they single up on Christian and they go, the backside safety stays over for a half a second, throw the fade. We'll go back. What am I talking about? So when they bring this safety down, this guy hasn't crossed that side of the field. So why I'm saying that is the safety hasn't balanced the offense at all. So you have more skill position players on the left of you than the right. Right? You split down the middle, you got 3 and 3, but there's far more over from a leverage standpoint to the left than there are to the right. So if you're going to stay there, then take advantage. Great pitch and catch. Always good to see Christian Watson get into the game early as well. Big time throw. So then we go motion, score the touchdown. If you go back, like we didn't even get maybe the blocking scheme that we wanted. So they want to bring Kraft over. We got a great job here on the crack. The linebacker tries to shoot his gap. We get in his way just enough. Kind of bumps off Kraft too, so Kraft clearly can't get to the safety. But like Willis is just so happens he's a really good runner. We go trips down to the bottom. So interesting set of trips, right? So you got tight end is covering the right tackle on the right. You have trips, but you also have the back over there. So really you have 4 receivers on one side. Motion over. Go to orbit. Now, all they're doing is reading this guy. Unless he chases, they're throwing. And it just so happens because the safety was faking that he was going to blitz, you gave inside leverage to the slot defender or the slot receiver. So you have good angles to get at least 10 before you get touched. Great play call. Sometimes situationally, too, it works out. Like that safety doesn't need to be, or that slot defender doesn't need to be sticking his nose in there, but he does. Now, you love this. He wide open player in the middle. He didn't see him. So he's got the in cut here for about a free 20 right before that other safety gets over the top. But he sees the escape route, clean pocket until late. And this is what you want to see, quite frankly, like that's what you want to see from your backup quarterback. Like I know if he's your starter and you got $55 million a year, it's like you want to run that much, but he's not that right now. So we go with the offset eye or offset pistol. So play design here is so good, right? I'm saying that because they're going to run the option, so all they want to do is freeze that defensive end. If he crashes or anything, we're pulling this ball and it's a go. And now you've basically got 2-on-2 downhill. So the linebacker takes both. He's late to read. Kraft gets up over the top, and Willis has another 30-yard gain. Really, I mean, great play design. And again, we talked about the eye discipline of the linebackers before the game, and it really affected the outcome because while they were so centered on stopping Josh Jacobs, and they did a really good job of that, I think all of the other stuff opened up because those guys are a little bit too quick. So here's my first, maybe of many. We used to have Isaiah McDuffie appreciation post or a Preston Smith appreciation post. Today we have a Tucker Kraft appreciation post. We have not had a tight end who can do the next two plays at his level in at least a decade. First play, easy, release valve, does a good job of holding up that defensive end. Do you have time? He releases out. He's covered, makes the first man miss, turns on the jets, makes the second man miss, ends up getting turned into a 15-yard gain. So athleticism, right? Yards after catch, everything. Love it. Next play. We fake, handoff, we go back at the end around, and now what does he do? Luda. What am I talking about? Old heads know that Ludacris had a great song that said, "Move, get out the way." And he's yelling Luda right now because he's about to toss this guy out the bar. I mean, that's an embarrassing takedown. I mean, that better be hitting real on his house. Like, so if he's got a mom or a girlfriend or anybody who loves him, like, put that up on the computer screen right now as your screensaver for the next 2 weeks. Beauty. Okay, play 19 was the first real run play that worked. They already had like 100 yards rushing in the game. Play 19 was the first. All they do is a quick toss to Emmanuel Wilson. We've got, it looks like a toss crack, but it's really not. You got down block by Tom. We're just going out. Love to see the receivers working. Don't talk about it enough. I should highlight it more. Love to see the receivers working. Look at the second level block by Sean Ryan. Fantastic job. Gives them another 7 yards. Now, this is a significant throw. Why do I say that? So you're running the 15-yard dig. And the timing on this is important because you have to worry about the backside backer right there. And there's two things that happen. It actually, I'm not going to bring up the Christian Watson one, but it happens this play and then the next one to Christian Watson when he gets the out. The receivers are doing a good job mid-run or mid-route of making that linebacker wrong by taking a step in. It's a subtle thing, but he's not getting his head knocked off because they have the awareness, because they're so good at route running now, when they're creating space, they have the awareness of the next guy coming. And they step out of the way. I'm not going to show Christians because it's the same thing, but great job by him as well. Now, we talk about elite athletes on the football field. Who am I always talking about when we talk about elite athletes? Talk about offensive linemen. Now, old 6'3" here probably weighs in about 325. Out on the move. Go ahead and take one, take two. Just take two on this and shove him out of bounds. Fantastic job, man. Love it. Absolutely. You love to see. I don't think there's anything more gratifying. Receivers going to say catching touchdowns. But when you see a play that's blocked well on the perimeter, whether it's offensive line pulling, whether it's fullbacks, receivers, I don't think there's a more fun play to watch in football. How sick is that, by the way? Okay, this is so welcome to the NFL again. Justin Simmons is really good. So there's still some things we got to work on. I'm not. This is one of those games where everyone feels good about themselves. So this is mostly good plays here. this play, you just got to get your feet right. So Sean Ryan, we need you. This is a good player. If you take 2 horizontal steps, you're going to get absolutely dog walked by a dude like this. Okay, and it just opens up the backside C gap because the tackle's basically chasing you, not pushing with you. Good tackle. And then we got the next one here from our boy Musgrave. Dude, this is like Thunderdome right here. 2-man enter, 1-man leave. Now, I'm going to be fair to Luke Musgrave. He's trying to avoid this guy because they're trying to run the outside play. But, I mean, that other dude's putting that on his screensaver. You know, that's tough. Sometimes you bite the bullet and just hit the guy. That's happened to me, though. Happened to everybody. Sometimes it's your day. So they run a screen here, okay? So they do the orbit motion, and they pull Jenkins, who had another good game. The backside linebacker, the one you're really worried about, the screen's like, who do you got to check first? I got to check if it's a man linebacker, okay? The backside linebacker takes off because they think they're running the other way. He gets in the backfield. They throw it to Wilson. He makes one cut right there. Melton makes sure he didn't get a hold. Touchdown. That's all we need to look at as far as I'm concerned. When you talk about the offense, just fun. Now, defensively, I don't know. Are we giving game balls offensively? If we're giving game balls offensively, it has to be to Malik Willis. It has to be. Last week it would have been to Tucker Kraft. I'm going to give a one in look back, whatever that's called for Tucker Kraft. But Malik Willis is definitely the game ball this week. He just continues to play well, and he's not making mistakes. Is what you love about him. He's just not making a lot of mistakes. Now, defensively, can't ask these guys to do much more. You hold the Titans to 14. You score 7 on your own. You create 3 turnovers. I think 2 picks and a fumble. The Titans averaged. Now the Titans are the Derrick Henry Titans for the last 10 years. They were the Eddie George Titans. Okay, they were the Chris Johnson Titans. Holy hell, they were good runnings, right? And they got Bill Callahan. They averaged 3 yards a carry on Sunday. Now, Bill Callahan is a legendary coach. He is he might be the best O-line coach there is in the game. 3 yards a carry. You got multiple first-round picks, blah, 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 blah. That's a hell of a good job by the Green Bay Packers. Now, highlights. Isaiah McDuffie, one of my favorite players to watch. This is his kind of game, man. He's all over the place. He finishes with 9 tackles, 6 solos. Really the physical presence that the Packers needed on the second level. I thought Quay played really well. You think the rookie plays really well. Here's the thing about this game. They didn't miss tackles. It sounds stupid, but they didn't miss tackles. And because they hustled through the ball and didn't miss tackles, all the opportunities that you see in games prior dry up. It's the name of the game. They played as hard, or all these kind of different. They didn't miss tackles. Now, Jair Alexander, obviously the pick 6. Maybe more importantly, Calvin Ridley, who's the guy we highlighted, somebody they had to take care of, will really be concerned about. The guy plays at a different speed. Now, it wasn't just Alexander, but they held this guy to 1 catch for 9 yards, really in kind of trash play at that point. Up multiple scores. So the defense you look at, there's always room for improvement. And the competition's going to get better. Like, you're going to play better quarterbacks than Will the Thrill at this stage, although, boy, he's talented. But you have to say with these turnovers, if nothing else, Halfling's defense is like that. They're ticking that box, man. They did exactly what – here's the best thing about the Halfling defense this game. You go into this game and you look at who you're playing, personnel, offensive line, quarterback issue, the whole thing, right? They've got Cowboys cast off at Tony Pollard, he's a good player, but, And you think, okay, we should really have a good game against these guys. They should have multiple turnovers. This guy's giving the ball quarterback position, and everything that you expect to happen happens. And you really, for the Packers at this stage, I don't think you can say a nicer thing. So let's get to it. Okay, so first things first. This guy has elite level arm talent. So they run the sail 7 here off of the play action when usually he's trying to hit a crosser, and everyone's looking inside. And he fakes in, but not a lot of guys can make this throw on a rope, and this guy's just got arm talent for days. Corner can't get back. Fair enough. I like that the Titans found a little bit of success when they went big, particularly in the passing game. I thought it opened the game up more for them. But you see some of this stuff. We talked about it last week. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, most times good. When you penetrate and you have a little car crash right here, it causes problems, right? Because now you have to make the back jump in the backfield. So Slayton gets in the way of the puller. Anibari can sideswipe him to get in. I mean, the guy still has a gain, but you can understand that's a much better outcome than the alternative. So they try a little bit of crazy motion, and Anibari, boy, I tell you what, man, he ate his Wheaties. Holy hell, he got shot out of a cannon a couple times this game. He must have watched Get Up or something on ESPN, and they must have talked bad about him. I don't know, but this kid looked like it. He has a play later on that you retire from. You know what I mean? Almost had him right there. Listen, as bad as you want him to make that tackle, you want him to take the shot more than anything else. You want him to take the shot. If he misses, he misses, but you take the shot and you make him go laterally, good things are going to happen. I love the way they pursued. I think that's Devontae Adams making this tackle. Big time. Devontae Wyatt. What am I talking about? Devontae Adams. Come on, Mike. Get the right decade. This window throw is just really good. Sometimes I put stuff in there. Other guys are talented too. Whatever. Linebacker player. Okay, we've been talking about this. Particularly with Quay. I think this is the one. Let me see. Is this the flat foot read? It is. Okay. He doesn't back up. He just stands there, and as soon as he IDs it, man, he's shot out of a damn cannon. Takes away the outside, makes him cut back to McDuffie. McDuffie makes another solid tackle. That is great combo linebacker play. Quay not taking a step back, doing his damn job, cutting off his lane, forcing the running back to cut into McDuffie. That is exactly what you want out of that. I'm highlighting Quay there as being the difference maker. Flat foot read, see it, go. It was fantastic. Now this, okay, let me back up. So Rashawn Gary is going to beat this guy bad. Okay, by the way, I just want to show it. This is what I've been talking about. Get to level and just bowl. Because these guys don't have it like you have it. Look at the leverage. Now, we had some offsides or some BS, okay, but great play. They ended up scoring, of course, but you want to see more of that, obviously. Now, I didn't know how else to say this because if you watch Alexander down here, he's sitting on this route like he's jumping up and down. Like you ever tell my dog, I'll tell Izzy, sit, and then if she knows it's like time to eat or time to get a treat, like she's going nuts. She's like sitting, but she's doing this, She's gets so jacked up, and he's almost sitting here like, dude, I know this kid's I know Will the Thrill is just gonna throw me a bone right now. And sure enough, man, he's just sitting, but 9 nights, right? I mean, the game's basically over now. They're not coming back. What a play! God, he makes some plays, doesn't he? Unbelievable. All right. I think this is Skoronski. I'm not sure if Skoronski was hurt if this is playing left guard. He got beat up if it is, the left guard got beat up pretty bad in this game. You got to get in the weight room a little bit. Okay. This is grown man strength right here. Right? This is a grown man's game. Just toss him to the side, make a play, man. I just love the way this kid plays. This is good football. I didn't highlight McDuffie here. He makes a great tackle at the end, but they run the TE. And then Preston gets the pressure. Look what he does here to the center. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, center, use your hand. I mean, I'm an offensive lineman, for God's sake. Use your hands. Preston, great job. Pressure. Okay. Get rid of the ball, and then McDuffie just makes – this is what I'm talking about. We weren't making this tackle last year. We'd miss half of these damn tackles. Fantastic. Okay. Instinctive play. So I'm gonna highlight our rookie, but watch for Sean Gary first. Dude, just get out of my way. Really? I mean, the dude is just a football player. I know he doesn't have stats he wants right now. God, he's a football player. Okay, now back to Cooper. Look at the instinct. Now, go back. Okay, here's what I love about this. Wyatt is doing such a good job of holding the point against the guard that they can't move. Like Wyatt's keeping the gap integrity and keeping the guy in the line of scrimmage. So the center is basically pointing, like, look at me now. Center's pointing the wrong damn direction. So Cooper sees it and just says, takes off, knows that gap's his, knows that the outside gap's covered. Boom, in. Fantastic. Great job by Wyatt. It's, again, team football. Team football. Really good. This is what I love. Okay, so this is the sack that Van Ness gets. He's off the screen. He'll come in. And like Van Ness isn't going to win a lot of like one-on-ones, but he'll get a lot of effort sacks, and it's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. But this is what you like to see again. At level. He's not trying to run over the top, man. Like, he's already parallel at level with Will the Thrill here. And causes him. This isn't like where he's over, he's like 2 yards away. He's trying to reach for him. Like, he's going for the kill shot. And then Lucas Van Ness does a good job running I mean, if they're the left tackle, you over there, I think you're from Alabama, and you go, I didn't get beat right there. But, it's good sack. So now I just preview Devontae Wyatt sack. No, left guard again. This is what we're talking about, man. Here we go. So a little separation. You see the hands are coming up low to high, a little bit too much from the guard. Devontae gets on him, bull rush through. This is exactly what you're hoping for when you draft this guy, man. And year 3, here we go. It's coming. I see a different play style from him. The evolution of just his football acumen and quite frankly, like, the play speed or intensity is consistently better. Okay, I put this in here. This is a big time play. I think this is Carl Brooks. Okay, now this is the hallmark of a good defensive football team, and this is what you hope the Green Bay Packers are going to be. And we saw this all day. I could have done a lot of these, but this was significant. So, 3rd down. He chases this guy down to stop him short, okay? So it's 4th and 1. Great job of tracking back. So it's 4th and 1 now. So that effort leads to wins. So now look at the bottom 4 guys, really, with Quay. We got the motion leave. McDuffie holds the line. Quay makes a silly, ridiculous athletic play. There is no way he should be beating this guy over the top, but somehow he does, forces him back to McDuffie, makes the play. That's so big time, man. And it's all because Carl Brooks ran his ass off the last play and gave guys opportunity. Friend of the show. I love this. Man, God damn it, I love football. All right, watch this, man. This is an ankle check. When you see this play from the ice to the sideline, you think the quarterback died. I mean, look at that poor guy. I mean, he did not know he was taking a yoga class today. That just ice skates, baby. Oh, God. Boy, Van Ness picked up some. I'll tell you what. Here's the thing about Van Ness. Like, I'm not saying anything bad about. Like, he's a good player and all that. He's just not going to beat you a lot, right? But boy, he gets an effort sack, fumble recovery. Like, that's a pretty good goddamn day. You can get paid a lot of money for doing that. You don't have to be the superstar. You can still put up numbers in this league, playing really hard and being fundamentally sound. Okay, 3 to a side here. Everybody's running this stuff. Everybody's been running this stuff. But here's the difference. Now that I think that's Cooper, they bring Cooper around, and these guys are just all kinds of problems. But really, Enagbare beats the center so bad. Oh, my God. Like, oh, man. I think that center's supposed to be a good player. That's a problem. So now my guy, Preston Smith, and I'm just going to end it with this. Hands up. Oh, what a fun game. Boy, it's so much better to win than to lose. I've noticed that like recently. Like winning's so much better than losing. All right, let's get some listener questions real quick before we get out of here. Again, thank you for everybody who puts these up. God, these people are mean. Okay, here we go. No, this is nice. Has Josh Myers really shown improvement? Or no, he says, Josh Myers has really shown improvement. No. Let's get a bigger sample size on that one. How did Sean Ryan hold up these last two games going through the film? Many were concerned originally. Well, it's like they're first of all, he's playing against some two really good players there. Justin Simmons is all pro. And they didn't run the ball very well up the middle. And he's certainly part of the reason why. I mean, Justin Simmons is better than he is. That's fair. But the Packers are finding ways to be successful. Otherwise, I think the biggest thing, we talked about it before, the Titans didn't really have a chance. Like, they haven't been running a ton of games and stunts and like all the stuff that frees them up. Usually they don't run it that much this year. And then they certainly couldn't run it with us because, it's like a who's on first play every time they hike the ball. Has Wyatt's technique improved or is he just thriving in the scheme? I think it's both. I think we just saw it. I think he's evolving. Third year, clearly a high value pick coming out. So the talent's there, and it's just a question of putting your stuff together. If he plays like this, he's going to have a lot of zeros behind his contract. I know that. Okay, here we go. What differences are there for yourself or any seasoned vet, when a new runner enters the backfield? For example, do you step or move any differently from Amon to Tony Fisher? No, we do nothing different. Absolutely nothing different. If there's a consensus at how things are to be handled, and quite frankly, the running back is the better athlete and has the not the easier job, but like I'm trying to move a human a place he doesn't want to go, and you need to be able to be fluid and move off me, not the other way around. Are the recent Walker penalties being caused by poor technique, fitness, or something else? Okay, so the one in the game in particular that kind of pisses you off is they're trying to run outside, and Josh Jacobs cuts inside, so he's got outside leverage, and he's grabbed the guy. He's got him on handlebars, which is good. But then when the back goes the other way, and he gets caught holding, it's like the sack when you got a guy locked out and the quarterback runs around you, and then all of a sudden you're like, dude, I have him gripped. Like, it's almost like the ref shouldn't call that. I mean, I know that they have to. I remember I used to get called on like Keith Traylor. Like Keith's like 360, so like you could grab anywhere you want. Basically, the guy's massive, right? So I'd have him locked in, and then like Amon like cut backside, and he's so big that like when he moved, it was like the earth moved this way, so your hands are not in front of you; they're over here. All of a sudden, you get called for a hole, and you're like garbage. Okay, Jenkins never get. Boy, you guys are real negative on the holding calls. I guess because it's Josh Jacobs thing. He never gets called for holding. What did you see? Refs bad for you? No, they're not blaming the refs. No, he does hold. He usually has good inside hands, but again, same thing. When you got a guy that's as like shifty as Josh Jacobs is, sometimes he shifts from like your right side to your left side, and if you got a guy locked out, unless you have him like kind of moving backwards, they're gonna call it. 100%. I was going to ask if there's technique different than Walker. No. What have you seen him feeling during Matt LaFleur's tenure? Would you consider him an elite NFL play caller designer? Yeah. So what you've seen is an evolution from Aaron Rodgers probably completely running the show to half and half, checking a lot of line of scrimmage. Then you see, obviously, last year his full first season is like I have to be responsible for everything that goes on in this offense. The early struggles with the quarterback and just kind of learning the system and really learning not the quarterback, but like learning how to call it with a different guy. And then, I mean, they've been on fire. I mean, you don't score that many. He scored 30, so he really scored 20 till 23. They had a bunch of turnovers, so it's like how many points did you earn? That kind of thing. Last week you don't score a ton of points, but you run for over 200 yards. So it's like you're playing complimentary football. you're putting up these crazy numbers. The other team only had like 40 some plays. So would I say he's an elite level play caller? I don't know how you wouldn't based on what he's doing right now with the backup quarterback. How did Malik Willis go from being discarded to a dominant running and passing quarterback? Was it the scheme, the receivers, blah, blah, blah? Okay. So the Packers are doing a better job of putting a guy like that. So first of all, we have a much more user-friendly. If you look at the Tennessee offense from last year and the Packers offense right now, which one is more user-friendly? Like, it's not even close. Far more user-friendly. So I think that's number one. The utilization of the weapons around him, like, again, we didn't run the ball very well, and we ran for 180 yards. We didn't run the ball very well where you're supposed to run it, but because your quarterback gets 73 yards, because your wide receiver gets 50 yards, you ran the ball pretty well. And so they're just doing a great job of finding the soft spots in the defense. Like in this case, we talked about it before the game. Linebackers, eye discipline, man. Like see car, chase car. The car I wanted was going the other way. And like the coaching staff has to be doing a great job with this guy. He has to be working extra. Like when you see a quarterback coming in and do well, no, it's because of hard work. Seems like the left side of the line is struggling. No, I'm not going to say that. Lack of urgency and intensity on the final drive first half concerns me. I can't imagine why. Was clock management was poor? Okay, well, you can't like that against better teams in the league. Yeah, that's fair enough. How are you trying to win the game? What's your priority? Your defense is playing extremely well. Do you want to be concerned? Like you have a backup quarterback in. This isn't Jordan Love full go. We're going for MVP in 2025, right? That's not what we're doing right now. How do you think the cornerbacks are doing? Picks are nice. Hopkins is better than Eric Stokes. And that's I was going to put a couple plays on there, but it's like Eric Stokes is still an unproven guy to me. He made a couple tackles in this game I was really impressed by. But look, you've got an all-pro on one side. You've got kid's going to be an all-pro safety, McKinney. You've got a young safety who's going to be an all-pro someday. You've got guys back there. Stokes needs to, everyone needs to kind of haul their own weight, and I'm sure he'll continue to improve. As a player, especially on the line, how cognizant were you of the officiating crew prior to the game? More so as you got older. In your experience, players alter their technique? Absolutely not. What they do is, what we try to do is, we try to do the same thing all the time, which is get away with cheating. And what we hope for is we build a rapport or a reputation, either a rapport with the ref or a reputation on the field that you will get the benefit of the doubt, and a guy will be like, hey, Mike, like, hey, man, don't hold him. Like, I used to have this one ref, I forgot his name. He would tell me, like, I don't know, 13 times a game to not hold the guy. Because, at one point, I'd get my hands inside most every damn play. That was one thing I could do really well when I was older because I watched Flanagan do it all the time. And he would like, don't hold him, and you're always like, I'm not holding him. Like, this is how I'm supposed to beat him. So you have those relationships with the guys eventually. Let's see, this guy, I love a breakdown with the DL linebackers were doing to take over the game. I hope I showed that to you. Approximately how many yards is Josh Jacobs lost offensive holding penalties? I think 100. He says 100. I think so. Who are you most impressed this week with on offense and defense? It's hard not to say McKinney every week on defense. Jair had the pick six. McDuffie had a great game. Quay did some things I thought were fantastic. I think linebackers, let's say the linebacker group had their best week this week for sure. And I already said on offense, Malik Willis. Why or not would a sumo wrestler be a good recruit through international pathway? They'd have to lose a ton of weight. You know what they look like underneath. You got to run in this game. Rashid Walker and clinic arc breakdowns, please. I think I did that a little bit, not with Kenny, more with Preston and certainly with Enbare and certainly with Devontae Wyatt. Player best 11. So this is an interesting question. When Love comes back, what do you do with Willis? I don't think you have a package for him. I don't think he's a Taysom Hill guy. I think that you continue to develop him because you have a real resource that you can trade. You got to remember, guys, like the Packers, when Brett was here, Mark Brunell, Doug, Aaron Brooks, Matt Hasselbeck, Kurt Warner. I'm missing guys. There were just dudes came through here like gangbusters. They can do that again. If Malik Willis, I mean, if you had never seen Malik Willis play in Tennessee, and you said that was the first game you ever watched him play, Matt Flynn, who didn't pan out because of Russell Wilson, but you would go, if I was desperate for a quarterback and I saw that style of play and I thought I could put that offense in, I'm paying him. That was easy. So I'll be honest with you guys, I don't even know who we're playing next, and I don't really care. It was a fun week. I love running football. The only thing that makes me sad is I know that they can't do this forever. I know that we can't run the ball 36 times. Hit that button, subscribe, rate, review us. Audio visual equipment is coming. Until then, you're gonna have to look at this, no makeup. See ya.